Beneath the misty canopy of the Amazon lies a submerged forest, a murky, tangled labyrinth where sunlight struggles to reach, and Earth's most formidable predators glide unseen. For the next 14 hours, we will journey through these flooded routes. We will witness the delicate dance of the river dolphin and the brutal efficiency of the giant otter. But you must watch closely, because as the sun begins to fade, the undisputed king of these shallows will finally wake. Before the sun breaks the horizon, the Amazon basin breathes in the cool, misty air of dawn. It is 5 o'clock in the morning. A dense, ethereal fog blankets the igapó, the ancient flooded forests of Brazil, where the boundaries between earth and water dissolve into a massive flooded ecosystem. Beneath this murky, tannin-stained mirror, a vast network of life stirs, showcasing incredible biodiversity. The waters here are dyed the color of dark tea, rich with millions of decaying leaves. In these labyrinthine channels, vision is a luxury. Survival depends on mastery of the unseen. Gliding through the submerged canopy and dense root systems with unparalleled grace is the Amazon River dolphin, the boto. Adapted perfectly to this underwater jungle, their unfused neck vertebrae allow them to thread through incredibly dense thickets. They do not rely on their small eyes in this gloom. Instead, they perceive their world through a symphony of sound. Echolocation clicks, a high-frequency biological sonar, bounce off every sunken log, painting a detailed acoustic map of the riverbed in the pitch black. The dolphins are the ghosts of the morning, flushing out red-bellied piranhas and silver arowanas from their nocturnal hiding spaces. As the mist slowly lifts, the terrifying scale of this habitat is revealed. Deep in the shadows, ancient giants like the black caiman and the immense arapaima hover perfectly still, giving way to the highly active mammals. Soon, the muddy banks erupt with energy. A family of giant river otters, the undisputed wolves of the river, slides into the current. Their day begins with boundless vitality and a relentless drive to hunt. The morning chorus of the rainforest rises, a cacophony of life echoing across the water, heralding the arrival of the Amazonian day. Even prehistoric relics, like the hoatzin bird perched precariously on low branches, or the heavily armored mata-mata turtle camouflaged as sunken bark, brace themselves for the coming frenzy. As the overcast sky brightens toward mid-morning, diffused light penetrates deeper into the murky channels, awakening the full biological might of this complex aquatic biome. By 8 o'clock, the ecosystem is a theater of high-stakes survival. The pod of Amazon river dolphins engages in deeply complex social rituals. They rub their pectoral flippers together, reinforcing the vital social bonds necessary to thrive in such a competitive environment. Their melodic whistles echo for miles underwater, completely ignoring the powerful swimming jaguars crossing the surface above, or the large pacu fish crushing fallen seed pods with startling force. But the true spectacle of the morning belongs to the giant river otters. Operating as a flawless tactical unit, the pack coordinates an aggressive, highly sophisticated hunt. They form a deadly semicircle, driving frantic schools of fish toward the shallow, muddy banks. The water boils into a brown froth of chaos. Sharp jaws snap shut in the blinding silt, securing a vital meal. Those who survive the massacre, like a lucky Oscar fish, desperately wedge themselves between sunken rocks, while ancient predators, like the oscillate river stingray, bury themselves entirely in the sand to remain undetected. The flooded forest is an intricate maze of sunken obstacles. To navigate it requires supreme supreme agility. The dolphins demonstrate incredible flexibility, swimming upside down to scan the shadowed undersides of massive floating hardwood trunks. Every breath is a calculated risk. They rise to the surface, exhaling violently and inhaling life-sustaining air in a fraction of a second before plunging back into the tannin depths. The energy of the morning is relentless, a testament to the immense caloric demands of an apex predator. They must consume vast quantities of food simply to fuel their endless patrols. Yet, this intense burst of vitality cannot last forever. As the morning progresses toward 11 o'clock, the suffocating humidity of the jungle begins to exact its toll. The air grows thick, heavy, and overwhelmingly hot. The frantic pace of the hunt begins to wane, signaling a profound shift in the daily rhythm of the biome. The tropical sun climbs to its zenith behind a veil of flat gray clouds. It is midday in the Amazon's igapó, and a suffocating heat descends. Because expending energy now invites heat exhaustion, a heavy stillness grips the flooded forest. The river's surface becomes perfectly glassy, mirroring the towering green canopy in flawless detail. The morning's relentless hunters must surrender to the climate. Exhausted from cooperative pursuits, giant river otters drag their heavy bodies onto shaded mudbanks, collapsing into slumbering piles in river-carved hollows. Their chests rise and fall in slow rhythms as they seek the cool refuge of wet roots. Beside them in this midday truce, capybaras rest motionlessly in shallow marshes, while Amazonian manatees float like lifeless boulders among dense water hyacinths. Beneath the surface, the mandate for rest is equally observed. The dolphin pod retreats to the deepest, darkest channels. Hovering motionless in cool voids, they dramatically lower their heart rates, requiring only microscopic fin twitches to maintain buoyancy. Suspended in deep rest, they allow the river's invisible current to slowly push them backward through drifting organic sediment. It is a moment of profound peace. A peacock bass hovers safely near a dormant dolphin, while the Amazon kingfisher pants on a branch above. In this sweltering stillness, predator and prey share a brief, universal reprieve to survive the brutal equatorial heat. As the afternoon stretches past 3 o'clock, the brutal peak of the day's heat begins to fracture. The flat gray light softens into warm, muted tones, casting long, dark shadows across the calm tannin waters. The air cools infinitesimally, but it is enough. The igapó begins to stir from its collective slumber. On the muddy banks, an adult giant river otter wakes with a massive, teeth-barting yawn, stretching its incredibly long, muscular spine against the cool clay. It is time to prepare for the critical late-afternoon hunt. To ensure their dense fur remains entirely waterproof against the approaching chill of the evening, the pack engages in aggressive, frantic grooming, scratching and chattering loudly on fallen logs. They slide on their bellies down slick mudslides, plunging back into the revitalizing waters, violently shaking their heads to clear away the dried earth. Beneath them, the dolphins awaken with a renewed, urgent purpose. Ascending rapidly from the dark blue depths, they break the surface with explosive, powerful breaths. They must hunt again before the true darkness sets in. The underwater maze becomes a theater of chaotic pursuit once more. The otters tear through the submerged roots with terrifying speed, digging their sharp claws into slick, algae-covered wood to launch themselves around impossible hairpin turns. The sheer violence of their movement triggers a trophic cascade, forcing ancient, heavily armed inhabitants to take cover and altering the behavior of the entire food web. Massive electric eels retreat deeper into dark crevices, discharging low-level warning
Amazon
fields,
River dolphins are
while
highly
tambaki
intelligent,
and silver
untouched
arowanas
wilderness,
scatter
tossing a large
frantically
leaf
into the
between them.
protective cage of the sunken brush, relying on their camouflage to survive. The dolphins resume their acoustic bombardment, emitting rapid streams of high-frequency sonar clicks that vibrate through hollow logs, flushing out the last of the diurnal fish. Yet, as the sun dips lower, there is also time for profound tactile reassurance. The dolphins swim belly to belly, gently nudging one another, spinning rapidly to create chaotic vortices of air bubbles in the warm water. It is a vital reaffirmation of their complex social hierarchy before the biome transitions into its most dangerous phase. The sky transforms into a canvas of dusty orange and deep blue. Twilight falls over the Amazon basin. It is the most beautiful and perilous hour. The Amazon river dolphins surface in open channels, their sleek bodies forming breathtaking silhouettes against the fading sky. With a final exhalation, they sink into the darkening waters, descending into the deep blue void. Relying on echolocation, they sweep the pitch-black riverbed for nocturnal prey. For the diurnal hunters, the day is over. Exhausted giant river otters abandon the water, marching up embankments into secure earth dens. Curling tightly to conserve heat, they bury their faces in thick fur and succumb to sleep, safe from the terrors ruling the dark. As light extinguishes, the flooded forest's true monsters awaken. A black caiman elevates its armored head above the glassy surface, a silent sentinel of the nocturnal shift. But a far more terrifying presence is already in motion. Sluggish from its day's rest, a colossal green anaconda slides silently from the bank. It swims with ribbon-like grace, head perfectly still, flicking its forked tongue to taste chemical trails in the cooling air. Oblivious to the shifting balance of power, a massive capybara wades cautiously into the shallow, murky waters to graze. Its hooves break the surface with loud splashes. It does not know that beneath the water hyacinths, the ultimate ambush predator has coiled its neck into a tense, lethal shape. A sudden splash from a surfacing dolphin fatally distracts the rodent. It freezes, twitching its ear. In that singular moment of misdirection, the anaconda glides invisibly beneath the surface, closing the final distance. The water explodes. With deafening violence, the anaconda launches its massive bulk, sinking backward-facing teeth into the capybara and instantly throwing thick, muscular coils around the thrashing prey. The shallows churn into a frenzy of life and death, an inescapable grip of constriction that slowly pulls the exhausted animal beneath the surface. The violent splashing slows to heavy gasps, and finally, nothing. Perfectly circular ripples expand until the water is completely glassy once more. True night completely envelops the flooded forest. The intricate, relentless cycle of life, death, and survival is complete. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, the mist will rise again, and the ancient, untamed heart of the Amazon will continue to beat. Here, the darkness belongs to the anaconda, but across the world, beneath the Congo Basin's suffocating canopy, a vastly different apex predator uses the night to its advantage. If you want to see what hunts in Africa's darkest river, click the video on your screen right now. I will see you in the Congo.